Do you ever feel violent?
Yes, I do.
What do you feel like doing?
Killing people.
You still feel like killing people?
Yes.
Describe the feeling that you get when you feel like killing people.
Well, last March 11th, I was hallucinating, and I took a razor blade and I cut a man's throat.
Here in the hospital?
Here in the hospital.
Do you think you'd murder me, Joe?
Yes.
That's gruesome, Joe. That's horrible.
Yes, it is.
And you don't blame me if I say I hope you never get out of this place.
I hope I never do either.
Sexual sadists from Long Island come to New York City. They hunt young people to bring back to Long Island where they fuck them, torture them, kill them, dismember them, etc. Then they dump them alongside parkways. There's a Long Island serial killer. That's exactly what he did. You have a license to carry that, you fat fuck? And there you go, some angry black detective swooping in for the arrest. Who says black lives don't matter? Made the cover of People magazine. You know how hard it is to make the cover of People magazine? Well, welcome to Long Island. They found a partial torso of a transsexual, only part of a torso, in a suitcase near the beach. The head was found in the ice of a frozen pond near the Hamptons. Kids that were ice skating found it. Kids were used to that kind of thing around here. Tranny's limbs were found in the yard several miles away from the head by a landscaper. He was cool with it. Ah, there's a selfie. All-American handsome, isn't he? Donald Trump, Melania, and a Long Island serial killer. Like baseball, apple pie, and pickup trucks. His backyard speaks for itself. Isn't it nice? Ah, there's his freaky wife, Asa. She filed for divorce days after they arrested him. Started a GoFundMe page looking for $150,000. She had to shut it down at $60,000 because she got $1 million from Peacock to do a reality show. Now she loves him again and says he's innocent. That's her convicted felon drug-dealing lawyer who brokered the deal through bitch rapper 50 Cent. The lawyer got $400,000. The adult children's lawyer got $200,000. Rex is his name. He wrote the happy-faced serial killer a letter complaining about stale bread in jail. And that's the famous Gilgo 4. Famous Lost Girls. That's Long Island serial killer territory. Famous Gilgo Beach. Wayne, how come law enforcement has such a rough time solving these cases?
Yeah, there are actually a number of reasons why they can go undetected. The first is that they may target victims who are transient in nature. These are people who move around a lot. For example, sex workers. They can bounce between New York, Atlantic City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. They may go back to their hometown for a period of time and try to lead a normal life. If they have addiction issues, they might be in and out of rehab. They can also hit the road one day out of nowhere just because they want to escape from a pimp, or maybe they want to evade an arrest warrant.
Yeah.
Obviously, if this type of person doesn't show up one day, then most people will presume that they have simply gone elsewhere.
Okay.
The second factor is the time between murders. If the offender has constraints in his personal life, for example, a family, then he might not have the time or the space to target as many victims as he would like to. This can lead to a situation where his kills are so spaced out that a pattern is nearly impossible to detect. The third factor is body disposal. If he's concealing the remains instead of dumping them out in the open, then it might not be apparent that a killer is operating in the area. Another factor is MO. TV shows and movies, they like to portray these men as rigid creatures who have a set routine. Real life isn't always like that. These men usually have one goal, and that's basically to satisfy a sexual fantasy. There's nothing to say that they won't switch things up if they notice an opportunity. If they do switch things up, either deliberately or just by chance, then it's obviously going to be very difficult for law enforcement to connect the dots between different victims.
Yeah, but Wayne, Rex was so easy to catch. Man,
touchdown, you'll find that it's stranger than known. Signs in the street that say where you're going are somewhere just being their own. Nowhere is there warmth to be found among those afraid of losing their ground. Railway town, known for its sound, in places, small faces unbound.
Rex Pyramid, assigned they're searching for new evidence in their ongoing investigation of the 𝙆𝙤𝙧𝙞 murders.
And if something comes up in the investigation that said, hey, new leads, something else that was unforeseen from
Their previous search warrants were so extensive, it's hard to imagine anything was left.
Some living, some standing alone.
Every day, I wake up determined to deliver a better life for the people all across this nation that have been ignored, neglected, and abandoned.
Stop it, no. Let me fix that. Please stop it. No, please stop it, please. Please stop it, please. No, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? Stop it. Please, get him out of here.
May 1st, 2010, an escort named Shannon Gilbert calls 911 from her John's house in Oak Beach, Long Island. She tells him men are going to kill her. She pleads with men inside the house, and men are waiting for her outside the house. Shannon bursts out of the house. She runs to the streets. She's chased. There's blood-curdling screams. She knocks on doors. An old man wants to help, but the bad men catch up. She runs again, then vanishes into thin air while on the phone with 911 operators. There are suspects, but the police don't care. November 2010, Suffolk police order a detective to train his cadaver dog by searching for Shannon Gilbert's body, even though the police say she wasn't murdered. On December 11, 2010, they find a skeleton bound in burlap straps near 𝙆𝙤𝙧𝙞 Beach. It's not Shannon, though. 2 days later, the police found 3 more, all 4 close to each other in the bramble on the side of Ocean Parkway. The 𝙆𝙤𝙧 4. Maureen Brainerd Barnes disappeared the summer of 2007. Melissa Bartholomew vanished the summer of 2009. The third, Megan Waterman, June 2010. The fourth, Amber Costello, disappeared in September 2010. All were petite, in their 20s, all escorts that advertised on Craigslist. Police Commissioner Richard Dormer denied there was a serial killer. "I don't want anyone to think we have a Jack the Ripper running around Suffolk County with blood dripping from a knife," he said in a news conference. No one was questioned. There were no persons of interest. 6 more sets of mostly dismembered human remains are found in the spring. 4 women, a transsexual, and a toddler, the daughter of one of the women. Now Police Commissioner Dormer lowered expectations about catching a serial killer. He said, "This is not an episode of CSI." But the Gilgo 4 all used their cell phones to meet the killer. Every device that connects to the internet has a unique IP address, allowing other devices to send data, leaving digital trails. This includes location and identity. The original Craigslist killer, Philip Markoff, left a digital trail responding to an ad in the erotic services page of Craigslist. They found him in days. He murdered 1 woman. It should have been easy to find a killer with at least 4 digital trails. But the killer used burner phones. Now, normally cell phone records have the name and address of the person who the account belongs to. However, the killer's phone numbers came back to fictional names and addresses. There was a separate phone and phone number for each victim. He destroyed each phone after he killed the victim. However, cell towers don't lie. When I call that phone across the table, my phone doesn't directly contact the phone across the table. It contacts a cell tower that's out there somewhere. That cell tower sends the signal to the phone. The phone sends a signal back to the cell tower that comes back to my phone. That's how it's done. The moment you turn on your cell phone, it reaches out to nearby cell towers and says, "I'm here." The cell tower says, "I got you." As the cell phone moves, it reaches out to successive nearby towers and says, "I'm here." Law enforcement can subpoena the cell tower dumps and show every number that contacted the cell tower and stayed in contact with the cell tower for every second. Back in 2011, cell tower information could provide police with a small geographical area from where a cell phone was used or simply on. They could track people in real time as they move, even if they didn't use the phone. I did it in 2003. The killer used burner phones and camouflage. He was so clever, but he made mistakes. He used tape to wrap the victims. They found at least a few hairs in the tape and burlap. DNA would find a match once they had a suspect to compare it to. In early 2011, the police visited the home of Amber Costello, the most recent victim. They took a written statement from Amber's roommate, Dave. On September 1, 2010, a man texted Amber at 11:33 p.m. and 11:34 p.m. The phone he used traveled a short distance, then texted Amber again at 12:05 a.m. The phone pinged a cell tower in Massapequa Park. The man arrived at Amber's house in nearby West Babylon, a large middle-aged white man, 6'4" to 6'6" inches tall, with dark bushy hair and big oval glasses. He looked like an ogre, according to Amber's roommate Dave. Amber and Dave had a con. Once she got paid by a John, but before the sex, Dave would burst into the room, pretending to be Amber's boyfriend. The John would flee without his money, without his sex. They pulled this con on the ogre. The ogre turns out to be the Long Island serial killer. Oh no. He's so big. He's got over 300 guns. Only an hour after they embarrassed him, the killer texts Amber, quote, "That was not so nice. Do I credit for next time?" The burner phone pings a cell tower in Massapequa Park. The next day he contacts Amber from work, pinging the cell tower in Midtown Manhattan. He wants to see her again, but he says he doesn't want to come back to the house because of Amber's boyfriend. He's setting the trap. At 10:39 p.m. and 11:05 p.m., he contacts Amber pinging the cell tower in Massapequa Park. Then the killer's phone travels to West Babylon, arriving close to the house Amber lives in at 11:17 p.m. Amber goes to him. She walks into the darkness. The killer's Chevy Avalanche drives past the house. He remembers what Amber did to him, and we know from his internet searches he likes to torture girls for days. This will not end well. Goodbye, Amber. Amber's roommate saw the killer's rare dark green first-generation 2002 Chevy Avalanche drive past. When Suffolk County Police spoke to him in 2011, he gives them a description of the ogre and a description of the Chevy Avalanche. If police did a computerized DMV record search in a reliable database, they would have had the identity of the killer in 2011. Based upon the cell site pings, an elite FBI unit had already determined that the killer lived in an area called Massapequa Park, which they dubbed the Box. Using the same data, they knew he worked in Midtown Manhattan, another box. Find the unique Chevy Avalanche, registered in Massapequa Park, and bang, you got him. The lead disappeared. The chief of detectives, 𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙞𝙖, said he heard nothing about it. For 11 years, the information in the form of a written report sat at the bottom of a case file with thousands of pages of paper. Each cop made around $200,000 a year for that kind of shit. The killer drove Maureen Brainerd Barnes across the 59th Street Bridge from Manhattan to Long Island at 11:56 p.m. on Monday, July 9, 2007. He'd been in contact with Maureen using his burner phone 16 times for 3 days. He stalked her in cyberspace. For days, he rapes her, binds her, tortures her, kills her. The killer's burner phone traveled from Massapequa into Manhattan on July 10, 2009, the last day Melissa Bartholomew is seen. We know that Melissa met the killer in Midtown Manhattan before traveling with him to Massapequa. For days, he rapes, binds, tortures, kills her, but he's not done. Between July 17 and August 26, the killer uses Melissa's cell phone to call Melissa's younger sister, Amanda, 5 times. The day of the first call, Melissa's been missing for a week. Amanda answers and says, "Melissa," with relief. The killer responded, "Oh, this isn't Melissa." The killer asks, "Is this Melissa's little sister? I hear you're a half-breed." Amanda's biracial. The killer asked his 15-year-old, "Are you going to be a whore just like your sister?" He said he would come for her. He'd been watching her in cyberspace. Starting with the third call, the police become involved. The calls are coming from a small area of Midtown Manhattan. The NYPD rushed to the scene, but the calls are less than a minute long. The exact location cannot be triangulated. Surveillance video of the area where the calls come from show hundreds of people milling around with phones pressed to their ears. The killer's mocking the police. He only turns on Melissa's phone when he uses it. When he's not using it, he turns it off. The killer asked Amanda, "Do you think you'll ever see her again?" "You won't. I killed her." Then he hangs up. On August 26th, his last words are, "I'm watching your sister's body rot." The media reported about the calls. Melissa's phone goes dead. Saturday, the 5th of June, the killer contacts Megan Waterman. The burner phone is activated that day for the purpose of contacting an escort that he will kill. Then it's just destroyed like the rest. Megan is staying at the Holiday Inn in Islandia, Suffolk County. At 1:31 a.m. on June 6th, the killer again contacts Megan. She walks down the Long Island Expressway to meet him. Megan's cell phone travels to Massapequa with the burner phone. For days, he rapes, binds, tortures her, kills her. Cell tower analysis told the police all of this, but DA Thomas Spoda, abandoned cell tower analysis. In early 2012, staff members from the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit arrived in New York to help out. Suffolk County District Attorney Thomas Spoda had them turn around and fly back home. In the 4 years that Police Chief Burke ran the police department, from 2012 to 2015, the Gilgo Room at Suffolk Police Headquarters worked part-time. Burke served drinks in his office. Burke and Spoda went to prison. A new DA, Tim Sini, came. He got equipment like the Gladiator Autonomous Receiver, or GAR. The GAR reduces the area associated with cell tower pings. By the summer of 2021, the geographic areas had been reduced to the smallest yet on Long Island and in Midtown Manhattan. They could have gotten the killer again, but Suffolk police did nothing out of spite because Sini vacated throughout a false conviction that kept a 17-year-old boy wrongfully imprisoned for 33 years. It took until 2022 for the case to get an interagency task force with full-time investigators sharing information and resources. In 2022, an investigator from the state police who had been on the case for 30 days found a report of the interview with Amber's roommate, Dave. He saw the first-generation Chevy Avalanche mentioned. He did a DMV record search. Within a half hour, they had Rex Ďuerman, the architect for Trump Tower. They needed DNA to confirm the hairs that were found. Tailing Rex, they got a sample from a pizza crust he tossed into a garbage can in Manhattan. The FBI matched Rex's DNA to one hair. Two others matched Rex's wife. Hair also matched Rex's 27-year-old daughter, Victoria. On Thursday, July 15, 2023, the police grabbed Rex as he walked down Fifth Avenue. He didn't resist at all. This MAGA killer of little girls. On June 6, 2024, they indicted Rex for his fifth and sixth victims. He may have killed scores. Number 5 is a 20-year-old girl from Poughkeepsie named Jessica Taylor. A female dog walker found her torso on a platform on top of a pile of logs and brush. We saw pictures of it from back in 2003. When we saw it in January of 2023, it looked exactly the same. We returned in April of 2024 with the searches of Eastern Long Island ongoing. The pile was flat. Someone rifled through it. Law enforcement finally searched it after 21 years. And we knew they made Fat Rex for that killing. Jessica's found lying on her back with her legs bent underneath her, a macabre sex pose. Jessica's missing her head and her arms just below the elbow. We know from Rex's notes, his manual for sexual sadists, that the feds took off his computer and his internet searches. Rex is into the, quote, sexualization of decapitation. Rex searched the internet for, quote, autopsy photos of female. He likely decapitated girls while they were still living. He mutilated Jessica's breasts. Search warrants disclosed that Rex built a torture chamber in his basement. He had reinforced a table. He tied girls' arms over their heads and bound their legs at the ankles, then hung them alive by their arms from his ceiling. As they hung, Rex would torture them with cutting tools, beat them, strangle them with rope. He would stick inanimate objects into their orifices, burn them, electrocute them, then dismember them alive. He tortured Jessica for 4 days. Rex placed Jessica's torso on a surgical drape. Rex, you took care of dental records and fingerprints by cutting off heads and hands, and you hacked up the tattoo on Jessica's hip so it couldn't be identified. But the crime lab found a single hair on the drape. Rex, you fat fuck, you forgot to wear the hairnet you mentioned in your kill manual. Jessica was a streetwalker right by your office in Midtown Manhattan, Rex. She went missing from there on July 21st, 2003. We know you were there that day. On the night of July 25th, someone saw your dark green Chevy Avalanche backed up into the sump access road where they found Jessica's torso. Rex, you did an internet search for the story about Jessica's torso. And you knew your dark green Chevy Avalanche was spotted, so you went shopping on the internet for a new one, light white or blue. You bought new tires because you left tracks. You knew that the searches were incriminating, so you deleted all of them, just like you deleted your torture and kill manual. But you can't delete a single thing from the Fed's computer forensics teams. Remember what I told you, Rex? It's the little things. I went to Jessica's address in Poughkeepsie because she bothered me the most. It's a bad place. In Poughkeepsie, police were raping and killing escorts and dumping them in the park by the river. I learned that from a retired prison guard who threatened to shoot me before giving me bottled water. People don't like visitors. On June 6, 2024, we also learned that Rex killed a girl from Trinidad and Tobago named Sandra Castilla. He killed her back in 1993. Hunters found Sandra in the woods of Southampton, lying on her back with her arms outstretched over her head. Her bare legs were spread far apart. Her shirt was pulled up over her head, exposing her breast. Sandra had dozens of sharp force injuries to her face, torso, breast, thigh, and vaginal area. Welcome to Long Island, Sandra. I bet you missed the Trinidadian sun. The streets aren't paved with gold here. Just blood, snot, spit, cum, and urine. Rex, Sandra's shirt had one of your hairs on it. They also found hair on Sandra's arm that belonged to the woman that lived with you. Since 2014, Suffolk cops blame Sandra's killing on John White Trash Bittroff, who killed, well, we don't know how many women he killed, but he was convicted of killing 2. Suffolk cops knew almost immediately that the DNA found on Sandra did not match Bittroff's DNA. They blamed Bittroff anyway to get an unsolved murder off the books. Hell, they blamed White Trash Bittroff for all of Rex's killings 10 years before they knew that it was Rex that killed Sandra. They get paid over $200,000 a year for that. I have to laugh like hell about Rex, the conservative American icon, and the Back the Blue Keystone Cops.
I want to.
could be human crime. Closer comes the screaming night. This beautiful creature must die. This beautiful creature must die. A death for no reason, and death for no reason is murder.
Okay, this is Alfred J. Conningham's house. Alfred J. Conninghamn was Richard Conninghamn, also known as the Torso Killer's uncle.
Do you have a number in your head that you think? Did you ever sit back and think about it?
Notice how he starts jerking himself off when he talks about the girls he killed.
They start to get jumbled. I would say there's well over 80. You think that many? Well over.
And some of the 80 are over 80. In the mid-60s, Richard the Torso Killer Conninghamn stayed at his Uncle Alfred's house in Massapequa. While he was there, he would go out and he would rape women wearing a mask, known as the Massapequa Masked Rapist. He also studied the area and he found the vulnerabilities of women, and that led him on a murder spree where he would dismember his victims and leave them in creek beds and woods alongside the parkways. Okay, this is a very short ride from Alfred Conningham's house, the center of the Torso Killer's activities in this area. A very short ride from his house to the Long Island serial killer Rex Ďuermann's house. Very short journey, and we're going to take it right now. You telling me they don't dump bodies in here? This is Massapequa Preserve. It's a Massapequa Park. Surrounded by serial killers, rapists. God knows how many bodies are in that swamp. Okay, this is Rex Ďuermann's house. His ramshackle house.
I was effective at it. He said, go do it again.
It's about 5 minutes away from the Torso Killer's uncle's house, Alfred Conninghamn. There you go. Okay, we're passing the Long Island serial killer's house, Rex Ďuermann, and you'll see it's extremely close to serial rapist killer Stephen Arnold's house. It's literally just a few minutes away. Did these guys all work together? Did they know each other? Did they share notes? There he is. That's the Long Island serial killer's house. It's where he killed those girls. No stopping, no standing anytime. They had to put that up because people, gawkers would come here and look at the house. All right, we're going to serial rapist, child killer, Stephen Arnold's house.
Make a left.
Just a couple of minutes away. Just a couple of minutes away.
Maybe that's him.
Kind of looks like him. You know that? That's him as far as I'm concerned. Yep. That was him. We're going from Stephen Arnold's house, serial rapist. Police framed the wrong guy. This killer of an 11-year-old girl still living in the neighborhood. This is where 11-year-old Angela Wong lived. She was found in the woods, Massapequa Preserve by the creek, dead. Stephen Arnold's hair was found in her underpants. There are about 20 registered sex offenders living within 1 mile of this house as we speak. Welcome to Massapequa. You got the torso killer right over there by the park. You got Rex Norman right over there. And you got Steve Arnold right over there. I wonder what's in this park. That's the Southern State Parkway. Southern State Parkway is a favorite dumping ground for serial killer or serial killers, depending on how many there are. For instance, we have Tina Foglia east of here a few miles. Her dismembered body found in 3 plastic bags. West of here, Tanya Rush. Her dismembered body, just the torso, found, well, the torso and body parts actually, found in a suitcase. A little further down, past Tanya, is the woman only known as Peaches, where they found her torso in a Rubbermaid container. That's a corridor of death, gateway to hell. That's a main route where people love to take dismembered bodies, whole bodies, drive them down the parkway, pull over to the shoulder, and dump them into beautiful places like this. Take a look down there. That's perfect access. Prime dumping ground. Okay, this is what the sick, twisted people of Massapequa put in their park when they're not putting bodies. What kind of fucking people dump shit, literal shit, in bags in the woods? Fucked up. See any bodies in here? This time. What fucking pigs? You know, it's just a dark figure at night. But here, Long Island, Massapequa, you just don't know. Long Island attorney John Ray represents the families of 2 Lisk murder victims. The families hate him because he has failed to get them any money. In January of 2024, John Ray presented a symposium on the Long Island serial killer case at St. John's University. Over the past decade, he has held multiple press conferences regarding the case. The Suffolk County Police and District Attorney hate him with a passion.
Everybody's a dreamer.
John Ray refuses to be interviewed by the team. He is associated with Murder, Inc. That's Joseph the Slob Brewer, one of the men that killed Shannon Gilbert. Next is Michael Pack, convicted human trafficker, another one of the men that killed Shannon Gilbert.
Hollywood Boulevard, their names are written in concrete. Don't step on Greta Garbo as you walk down the boulevard.
John Ray opines that many of the men that live in Oak Beach killed Shannon Gilbert.
But they turned her into a princess, and they sat there.
John Ray believes that Gus Poletti, rest in peace, was involved in the killing of Shannon Gilbert. Raul Montero is a popular self-proclaimed Facebook serial killer expert that appears online primarily on Facebook. Raul spends his days compiling a map of dead people.
Looks very much alive. That's true. And he looks up at his dresses.
Raul Montero hates John Ray and wants to kill him because John Ray gets more views than Raul.
Perpetrator involved was identified as James Burke, former chief of the Suffolk County Police Department.
The current Suffolk Police Commissioner announcing the arrest of the former chief of police. James Burke, a one-time 4-star chief, arrested for allegedly soliciting for a sex act with a male undercover officer in a Suffolk park by a Vietnam War memorial.
He's being charged with offering a sex act, indecent exposure, public lewdness, and criminal solicitation, 5th degree. Additional charges may be pending.
Jimmy, do you have anything to say about your arrest? Do you have a drug or a sex addiction? Burke rose to power despite a department investigation early in his career involving allegations of drugs, a lost gun, and a sex worker in his squad car. In 2015, he was arrested by the FBI and convicted of beating a suspect who stole pornography and sex toys from his department SUV.
I got choked, I got punched, I got slapped, I got kicked.
While in federal custody, Burke was investigated after oxycodone was found in his housing area. Now, Suffolk County Park Rangers working undercover arrested Burke at 10:15 Tuesday morning for solicitation and say he tried to get out of the arrest.
He identified himself and said who he was. Do you know who I am?
He was expressing to us how this would, be a public humiliation for him and such. So.
Burke also known during his career for overseeing the Gilgo Beach serial killer investigation. Numerous law enforcement officials familiar with the case say Burke blocked the FBI from investigating from 2012 to 2015. A suspect, Rex Uerman, arrested just last month for 3 of the 10 killings.
Any comment on the Gilgo Beach arrest?
And the park rangers were at that Vietnam memorial because there's been numerous complaints about quality of life issues, including prostitution. Now, James Burke will be arraigned on these charges in September.
New York City topping the list of cities with the worst air quality in the world for a bit.
This morning, the surreal images of major cities blanketed by wildfire smoke pouring in from the north. Toxic particulates filling the air. Experts say breathing it in for a day is comparable to smoking half a pack of cigarettes or more. New York City turning into an orange dystopia.
Stay close. Stay close. Hey folks, we're wildlife photographers. We're not deer. You're not allowed to shoot us. God. Watch you get. Stay close. Stay close. You're not allowed to shoot us, guys. We're wildlife photographers. Monday, October 30th, 2023. They found that the body of a young male, unidentified young male, laying right here, Sunken Meadow Park, Suffolk County. You know, I don't think it's ever going to end.